House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Hey everybody, it's party time as it always is here on Tuesday. Can you tell I'm in a good mood today? It's because Liz and Gina are here. Liz is, of course, our global jet setter, so she's somewhere. I don't even bother. I always assume, Liz, you're either in the air or someplace really, really awesome and someplace eating really, really awesome. You and Uncle John. So safe travels as
Yeah.
always, and we do miss you. And Gina, I am glad you are on the mend because as I heard, you were under the weather and quite ill.
I'm great now.
Okay,
Doesn't keep
Yeah.
me down long.
there you
Well,
go. And I'm putting out
Jason,
all your personal business here, unfortunately.
yeah, Jason, we want to thank you so much for being the MC for the Guam Association of Realtors Gala event. It was such a successful event, inducting our president, Loiza Kabuhat. It was, I mean, we were sold out. Entertainment was great. Too bad Gina was sick and didn't make it, but again, thank you. It was,
Thank you
you
so
were
much for
part of
having me.
making it a success. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course. Anytime, and no one had more fun than me. I met so many of my realtor friends who I haven't seen in a while, and it was an absolute blast. Realtors really know how to throw a party. Maybe that's why I'm rocking a big smile right now. And it was also, Liz, since you bring that up, some of our distinguished guests that night, we'll go over this real quickly, were the Lieutenant Governor of Guam, of course, Josh Tenorio, Senator Tina Rose Mooney Barnes, and Senator Shelley Calvo were there. The former two public servants gave very, very high praise and their endorsement of the ADU bill, which was supposed to have happened with a public hearing this Monday, but it got set back. So it seems like the people in terms of crafting public policy, at least on that side, are very much in favor of the ADU bill.
That's correct. The lieutenant governor was there, and he talked about the successes that we were able to get the nitrate bill passed. He fully supported it, and of course, there's a number of bills that the Guam Association of Realtors, our Government Affairs Committee, are reviewing right now, and we'll be meeting with a group of the senators to go over what our priorities are for 2025. Of course, the priorities have to do with correcting issues. I mean, there's certain things in the nitrate bill that probably will need amendment. And with the ADU bill, there was a delay because there was a section in there that, wasn't caught. It reflected that it was a conditional use versus a permitted use. So they had to make sure they went through the bill to ensure that when they present it to the public, it reflects the intent of the group of the legislature. So that one is scheduled for Monday, February 18, and we're asking the public to please come, write up your testimony supporting it. And again, the
Liz,
reason
you're
we
cut off.
support it, yes, the reason we support it is because it was due to our housing shortage.
Mhm.
Anyway, in any event, please come out, write a testimony, show up, show the support.
Yeah, and Gina, even though that one word, those few characters of text, basically the fact that they had to swap one word out or replace it with another one, semantically that makes a world of difference because, and in the market,
Absolutely.
this could make, it's night and day as far as like what this would do for the market.
Yeah, it absolutely is night and day. The difference between conditional use and permitted use is, as a conditional use, if the ADU is left as a conditional use, you have to go through the Guam Land Commission to get approval, and it's not an easy process. Most people do that for to do commercial properties, or if they're changing their zoning. It's quite an ordeal, and it's not cheap to do that because there's a lot of documents that are required, and it's lengthy process. So to require something like that for a residential development so that people could build on their properties, it's essentially going to kill the idea of being able to build an ADU. Most families won't do it. It's too difficult to do. And so yeah, that's the reason. And actually, John Duenas caught that when he reviewed that bill, and brought that up. And I know during the hearings that I attended, that Liz and John attended, and some other realtors that had come for the ADU hearing the last time, it was it was an opinion by some of the senators present that they wanted this to be a conditional use. and we completely disagree that that is not the intent of an ADU. I'll give you an example. I just received a letter. My husband and I own a townhome in San Jose, California, and I received a letter in December saying that the association has approved, and they use the word additional dwelling unit, ADU. They've approved allowing people in this particular association to enclose their garage and convert it into a living unit. And I'm allowed to rent it out or use it for other family members. But now I'm allowed to enclose my garage and turn that into a studio or
without any
one-bedroom.
more like substantial structural modifications and everything. And that is also interesting because that part of the country is literally Silicon Valley, where many big companies that now are in the Fortune 500 have started inside someone's garage without structural modification.
And from my understanding, I'm sure, so I think we confuse the building process with the ability to build.
Right.
Just because the ADU bill passes and allows me to build an ADU on my property doesn't mean that I could just start building. No, I still have to go through the building process. And when I go through the building process, the building code at that point gets enforced. And so it doesn't mean I'm going to sidestep the building process and the building permit, but it just allows me to build an additional unit. And yeah, California is quite strict in their laws, their environmental laws and their residential building permit laws, but yet they've identified that housing is an essential need and a crisis there. There aren't enough homes there. And so they've come out and said, listen, you got a garage and you want to turn that into a one bed. They don't even say there's no limitation. If I had a 800 square foot garage, I can turn it into an additional dwelling unit. They just say that you're allowed to enclose it and make it an additional dwelling.
Okay, now let's
And you have the
define that
ability
real
for-
quick, Gina, if we can, because garage, I mean, if in fact that idea winds up percolating because of this show to other people watching this right now, and they say, I think that might be able to work on Guam. What is the difference between a garage, maybe as defined by our friends in the mainland, and what we kind of know on Guam as maybe like a carport or just like a general parking area? Does it has to be enclosed, I'm assuming, and
A garage, Jason, is attached to your home and it has a door that closes it off. A carport does not have any doors to it, any garage doors, anything to cover. It's just open parking area. But the ADU bill doesn't, it talks about an additional building on your lot.
okay.
It hasn't gotten into the part where you can enclose a garage and make that a dwelling unit. I mean, this is talking about separate unit being built on the property, is my understanding of this law.
John says it does. It does cover the that part, Gina. It does.
But you
It
could
covers a
enclose
garage
your
that it's
garage or
attached. Yes,
carport.
you can close it and then rent that section. Yes, it does cover it.
Well, I think, Liz, in our last hearings, the ability to rent that unit was also an issue.
That's right.
Some of the senators were opposed to allowing the owner of the property from renting that ADU. And that's something we have to continue talking about if that continues being an issue, because
I think some of them, they thought that it to have an ADU was with the objective to allow extended families, because we have a lot of generation families now all living together. And the idea was, yes, you can rent it to a family member. However, if that family member moves, our opinion or the group's opinion is that you should be able to allow to rent that, because let's say you have a mortgage on your property, and it definitely will help you financially to defer some of your mortgage costs by renting that. It's your property. We felt like to prohibit it was not good. I mean, we want to make sure it gives people opportunities. Yes.
Without having to rezone your entire property and reclassify and all that stuff, even though you're using it for commercial. Yeah.
And then we want to emphasize, as Gina put it, yes, some of the senators felt like it was that people would violate all the zoning laws and and pollute our environment. But there are guidelines and policies in place that once you do this, you have to follow it. It's not hilly-nilly where you can go haywire with building all around your property. There are rules and guidelines that have to be complied with. And again, there are limitations. If you have a home and your lot size is small, you may not have the ability to build an ADU on your property. So there, again, emphasizing there are guidelines and they are not to be violated. They are in place to protect our community as
Okay,
well.
now I'm gonna play the role right now. I'm putting on my UOG theater department cat, right? And I'm playing the character of Mr. What If, right? Gina, if the situation that Liz just described does hold true, and say if I've got property and I just don't have enough square footage to build out, can I borrow an idea from our friends in Manhattan and can I just build up? Can I build like a second floor on top of my and just build like a little stairwell that goes up there and can I use that to rent out?
Wow. Jason, well, if John just explained that, yeah, you could build an attachment to the home, then I don't see why you can't build up as an ADU.
I'm glad we're on Zoom right now because I have the sneaking suspicion both of you would smack me if we were all like all in the same room for bringing that up.
No,
I
it's
mean,
really good.
especially
We're
these,
opening. It's
yeah,
good.
Or
these
is that the well
yeah.
and hence with the public hearing, is that the kind of like debate and thought process that you actually hope to bring?
Yes. Yes, we'd like
You
the
know,
public to come and talk about they may have even better ideas, who knows?
better
And then,
questions, the more questions we ask now, the better you can refine the bill or define the bill so it addresses these issues. Because Jason, and I just want to go back to sharing why Liz and myself, why we feel so strongly that homeowners, the ADU bill, yes, the thought of it was designed to help families and the situation we're in a housing crisis, to have affordable units for family members. But on top of that, how many of us have the ability, if we wanted to build an ADU, have the ability to just build that outright without getting a bank loan? Not too many of us. I mean, I for those that are fortunate enough to be able to say, I want to build an ADU for my mother, my father, my uncle, my sister, my cousin, whatever, my friend, and have them live on my property and be able to do that with cash, good for you. And I applaud you for having, being able to save and make sacrifices to make that happen. But for the rest of us out here, that perhaps 90% of us out here that have to go get a mortgage loan to create that property, maybe I'm doing it in advance of my children being able to move out of the home, but I want to have it ready. I want most of it paid off. So I want the ability to rent it out. And when my family member needs it, okay, it's there.
In a
And I
business
pay them to
dictionary, they
pay
would
it
they
off.
would call that future proofing.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the ability to rent it out, like I said, not many of us can pay this out of cash. So you want the ability to rent it out. Or what if my kids live in it, but then they've left for college, or God
Yeah.
forbid, I built it for my mom and she's passed. I want the ability to rent it out. And yes, I'm going to make money. This is still the United States of America, and I am still allowed to pursue my dream of perhaps making some money on my property and getting rich. And that is still not a sin. And with the last election, I think we voted to keep along that path. And so I want to tell the people of the legislature, please take a look at it from that perspective. We can't all pull it out of our pocket and build these ADUs. And I should have the ability to rent it out if at the end of the day, that's what I need to do to
There you
pay it
go.
off.
Okay, and sorry, one more just point of clarification. Liz, when it comes to ADUs, do these, because it's an additional dwelling unit, do they have to be physically attached to the main like piece of property? Like I'm just thinking many people like have big tool sheds, and what if they decide and it's separate from the house, it's over in the yard, or if they have a big tree and they want to do the Swiss Family
It,
Robinson thing and make a big tree house and rent that out.
it could be a separate dwelling apart because you're right. A lot of people have like storage sheds.
Right.
But again, just remember that there are rules and guidelines. So provided it meets the government code and the
The building
guidelines,
code.
the building code for the ADU and the setback requirements. It could be a detached structure.
As long
When
as
you
it's on
go,
the property, not necessarily
yes,
touching the home
yes,
to
yes.
which it is adjacent. Okay.
When you go around the island, you're going to find that some families have this huge storage shed in the back. And again, if it conforms with the setback and the guidelines, they could turn that into an ADU.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Guam, and there's many properties that are conforming with the law and are not conforming. And if you go to the northern area, uh, a lot of the Dedido area is zone R1, but many families have converted that into rental properties that we have seen, and it may not be conforming with the law. But with this, it gives the appropriate structure for people to have the ability to build. Again, emphasizing it has to meet the guidelines and the policies, setback, etc.
And so there is opportunity here. And Gina, final word with you, if I may, because like we don't want people just to come out to the public hearing and say, thumbs up, thumbs down, that's simple and that binary. It's like, I mean, if you have ideas, like Liz said, there may be some use cases which these two have never even considered in a million years. It's more like it's workshopping and it's brainstorming, and that ultimately will make better public policy.
Yes, and
You reach.
I want to say reach out to Senator Chris Duenas. He's the author and he does have co-sponsors with the bill. So if you have any ideas, reach out to him before the public hearing. Maybe they can add some of the suggestions or ideas to the bill that they will be presenting.
Yes, I actually suggest that if you are interested, reach out and get a copy of the bill now. Read through it so you can come and share your valuable insights, your ideas, your suggestions, your questions. The more questions we ask now, I think the better off the bill is going to be.
Right.
Excellent. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. Gina, hot tea with honey and lemon, and Liz, whatever you're eating, please just send me pictures because your travels and are the stuff of legend.
We're actually doing a Remax Philippines Awards event to the brokers and agents here in the Philippines.
Very nice.
So it's going to be a fun event.
Okay, well, please have some sisig for me because I love sisig. All right, bye, ladies. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.